Hi, Melissa here, pediatric speech-language pathologist, and today you'll learn the difference between a toddler speech delay and a toddler language delay. As a parent, you may have noticed that your toddler is unclear, or maybe they aren't saying as many words as you would have expected at this age. If so, take a second to subscribe to my channel so you can learn how to help your toddler communicate better. Understanding the difference between speech delay and language delay can be a helpful first step, so let's dive right in. So to start, let's talk about the difference between speech and language and how that might look for your toddler. Speech refers to the production of speech sounds, which includes how our tongue, lips, jaw, and voice work together. Think about the speech sounds that your toddler makes. For example, do they say the k sound on its own or within words? Or are they saying tat for cat because they can't say the k sound yet? On the other hand, language refers to the words that your toddler understands and uses, but does not include how they are pronounced. So if you're worried that your toddler has a speech delay, maybe they are mispronouncing all sorts of sounds and words, know that this is often a part of typical speech sound development and doesn't necessarily mean that your toddler has a speech delay or disorder. You can always consult with a speech-language pathologist to be sure, because it is a complex topic, but it is important for parents to understand that in general, speech takes time to learn. It's a fine motor skill that requires precise muscle movements and coordination. It's challenging for toddlers, which is why they sound so adorable when they're learning to speak, right? Most of the time, the speech errors that your little one makes will be completely normal and expected until they get more practice. So that example I gave before about a toddler calling a cat a tat, this is actually a normal error pattern that typically goes away on its own by age 3.5. Dropping the final sounds off of words, like saying ba for ball, is another common one that goes away on its own by age 3. So we just learned that speech consists of how sounds are produced in the mouth, and that speech delay or disorder is when there is an issue with speech sound production. Now let's compare that to language, which refers to the words we understand and say, and how we use those words to communicate. A language delay is when a toddler's language skills are developing in a typical sequence, but lag behind peers their own age. This might look like meeting their language milestones late, which can include difficulty following directions or answering questions, or most commonly, not saying as many words as expected for their age. A language delay can even encompass pre-language skills, known as foundational skills, like a lack of gesturing or imitation. Now, it's important to note that speech and language delays are often interrelated, especially in the toddler years, but it's also possible to have one without the other. Something I commonly see is a toddler who is a late talker or who isn't saying as many words as expected for their age. This toddler will be difficult to understand, not only because of their small vocabulary size, but also because of the limited number of speech sounds they use. The more this late talking toddler says new words, the more sounds they will use in practice and the clearer they will become. So it's important to focus on both speech and language at the toddler stage. The good news is working on language delays helps with speech too. Speech sounds can be developed within language-rich activities for toddlers who are late to talk or who have small vocabularies. Okay, so a quick recap. Speech refers to the sounds we produce, and language refers to the words we understand and use. They are most often intertwined, but challenges can exist in one area or the other. Toddlers who are difficult to understand will often improve as their language skills grow. Okay, so now that we understand the difference between speech delay and a language delay, let's talk about some tips that parents can do today to improve their toddler's speech and language development. Number 1, get face-to-face so your toddler can see your mouth while you're speaking. We know that children look at their caregivers' faces more when they are directly in front of them. So that means do what you gotta do to get at eye level, like getting down on the floor to play with them. Number 2, listen and respond to your child's message, not necessarily how they said it. So when your child does make a speech error, you can gently correct it by repeating back to them the right way in your natural response. For example, if your child says, "I want to pay guitar," you could respond back, "You want to play with the green car. Great, let's get the green car and play." And number 3, narrate what you and your child are doing throughout your day. This helps your child learn language for the common activities that you guys both do daily. And I want you to think of yourself as a sportscaster, like Olivia's putting the baby night-night. night night baby, and mommy's putting on shoes to go outside. If you're interested in growing your toddler's vocabulary from home as quickly as possible, I invite you to sign up for my Raising Little Talkers online course. You'll learn practical strategies and have a step-by-step plan to support your toddler's language development using your everyday routines. Click below to learn more. And I hope this video was helpful. If so, hit that like button and I'll see you next time.